last week's teaching. Today we are going to talk about an amazing topic that many Christians really want to discuss. Hey, are you a tither? Do you know what tithe is? Do you give that 10%? I've come to address you. My name is Israel Kale, and I'm back with this amazing discussion with you about tithe. So I really caught it when I had just become a born again. I simply called that the principle of tithing. I remember it was as simple as giving 10%. However, I've had people who really fail at it, friends, disciples, because they haven't addressed the issue of tithe. So when did I learn about tithe? I learned about tithe in a book by Apostle Moses Mukisa called Straightforward Financial Growth. It's where I addresses the issue of tithe. But there are a lot of details really about tithe that I can't, because I can't really go into. But I got it in a way that we should treat the jobs we have and the businesses we have as partnerships with God. Yeah, partnerships in a way that as in you have shares in a business or a company, and God has 10%, and for you have 90%. Because come to think about it, is that job you got it after praying. Yeah, you spent some time fasting and praying and believing God for a job, and alas, a job came. So when that job came, you really forgot where you got that job from. If you could really remember that the job came from God, or that business you have came from God, you would be faithful to give that 10%, unless you are greedy, really. So anyway, let's dive into some scriptures. There is a lot of history that is talked about in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, but you need to know that tithe even happened before the law. We see a scenario in Genesis 14 from verse 18 to 20. Then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of the God Most High. And he blessed him and said, "Blessed be Abraham of God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand." And he gave him a tithe of all. Abraham was before Moses. So Abraham gave tithe even before Moses, who came with the law, talked about tithe. So for those who think that tithe is of the law, this scripture is really beating you left, right, center. And someone could be like, what about in the New Testament? The same case happened in the New Testament. So when you read Matthew 26:28, "This is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for you and for many for the remissions of sin." It is addressing Jesus in the New Testament, talking about both the old covenant and the new covenant, and how tithe is crossing in both the Old Testament and the New Testament. So who receives the tithe? Hebrews 7 from 4 to 8 says, "Now consider how great this man was, to whom even the patriarch Abraham gave a tenth of the spoils. And indeed those who are of sons of Levi, who receive the priesthood, have a commandment to receive tithes from the people according to the law. But he whose genealogy is not derived from them received tithes from Abraham and blessed him who had the promises. Now beyond all contradiction, the lesser is blessed by the better. Here mortal men receive tithes, but there he receives them of whom it is witness that he lives. This seals the matter. Abraham, representing the church, gave the tithe to Melchizedek, who is representing Christ, and the scripture says he still receives them, of whom it is witness that he lives." So to refuse to tithe is to declare, whether knowingly or unknowingly, that Christ does not live. If you are born again and you don't tithe, it's just no reason as to why you should eat Easter, because you don't believe that actually Jesus exists. Maybe it could be like, Me, I give my tithe to the poor, I give my tithe to the people who are needy. That's really not tithe. Tithe is dedicated to be put in the house of God, as Malachi 3:9-10 says. From verse 8 it says that have you robbed God? Then in what way have you robbed God? By not giving the tithes and the offerings. So you're definitely robbing God if you don't give your tithe and if you don't bring offerings in the church. But again, it's just 10%. If you earn $1 million, get that 100 and give it. It is going to sustain the job you have. If you earn 60 million, get that 6 million and give it as tithe. It is simply 10%. It is also going to teach your heart to give. There is that thing that keeps your heart as if money is owning you. And the solution to that is tithe. That is going to bring the greediness out of your heart. I suspect you and expect you to start giving tithe. So our question would be, are you a consistent tither who returns the 10% of all you earn? Do you have a tithe number? Usually in our church we use tithe numbers. And are you teaching your disciples to be faithful tithers? Over to you. It is for self-reflection. Go and tithe. Go and tithe. Can give 10%. See how God will sustain your job. See you next Sunday. May God bless you. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. May God bless you. Have a nice week.